he managed to bring everything back for themselves.
Well, Agent Select coming up on the screen.
No, Desmo, you're not going to do it, bro. I know you're not going to do it.
If he's a 1-for-1, I was going to say, like, this makes sense. Like, what do you do with Alpha? Do you want to leave him on the Cypher? And if this were to be a 1-for-1, Fnatic moves away from the double controller into the double duelist.
Why are you so shocked, Mitch?
Damn. Yo, if Desmo dips West Side,
that's what I'm saying. If Desmo comes in on Phoenix, on Haven, against GX, and manages to outmatch, even just match pound for pound with Westside,
Easy 2-0 then.
Desmo's going to have some offers next year, and it's not in the assistant coach role. We're going to see him on that stage in Stage 2.
What do you mean?
And look,
especially here in EMEA, when we have the assistant coaches playing every now and then.
I mean,
having your assistant coach, having that experience.
I was starting to theory craft, like, what are the win conditions for KC later? Maybe it's put Zacian to play. Like, we've seen some coaches and assistant coaches step in and be actually the star of the show. Again, the game later, Zacian last year before?
2023.
2023, he stepped in.
No, 2024, sorry.
And looked unbelievable. So it makes sense. You know the team, you know how they play, but this is something that, sure, it makes sense, but man, there's some ego on that stage. I think Westside, he's going to feel the need to step up to the plate here.
So is it more pressure on Giant X than it is Fnatic trying to have to fill shooters?
If Fnatic lose, they go, well, we didn't have Vekash, so
see,
here's what
it
is. If GX lose, it's like they didn't have Vekash, bro. And Desmo's on a Phoenix. That's class. I respect it.
Yes, but if there is a team that can make a sub and not feel like a sub, I think that is Fnatic. There's been so many changes, so many different pieces, but the essence of Fnatic has always been there.
Well, with similar lineups, in fact, mirror matchups being run here on Haven, we're going to see exactly who is going to diff who, if it's going to be a Kravis by the end of this, because we do have Hazza and Cairo to start us off with this banger.
Thank you so much, guys. Yes, look, we've seen this story before. Fnatic have won with a sub on bigger stages than this. Of course, Desmo isn't Doma, but GX aren't Paper X, Cairo.
No, they're certainly not, but they are a team on form. That's the one thing that has to be noted. Beat PBL last week, which was an upset result at the time. Now as time has progressed, it might be something entirely different. But with a real opportunity now to lock playoffs for Giant X, they've got to be going and taking this chance with both hands.
Absolutely. Look, the world doesn't end for Fnatic if they lose today, but it would mean absolutely everything for GX to have that security in towards a playoff stage. The group is stacked, of course, and yeah, just to see this composition right out the gate, not too surprising. In the past, we know both the systems like to play into enabling the core pieces and allowing that substitute player to flex. Kicking things off, it's right up the guts of middle where they start to ask questions of GX on their attack side.
Slow GX start to gravitate towards that A site where questions would have been asked of Crashes, but already he's starting to maneuver. Cloudo up first. Easy on Kayak. Fnatic don't follow this up, so this allows for the main pack now to hit A.
And I mean, Crashes here will be lucky to get away with one. Still holding on to that dart, but playing into a retake situation. Cloud's bought so much time and space, and still Fnatic yet to issue that root cause.
Yeah, Fnatic's trying to identify him. Crashes at the same time, though, does get rid of Westside, which is going to be a big issue gone. Cloudo identified by Alpha, so advantage towards Fnatic. Does it continue that way? No. And 2-1 versus 1 on Desmo. He survives on 3 HP, so we have to see Ara clutch up. You know, Desmo's low, so a body shot would be enough, and that's exactly the case. And Ara knows what the last player is and wins out. A Red Bull clutch to get things started.
A couple kills from the assistant coach there made it look interesting. But Giant X, aware of where that retake was coming from on the flank, brilliant work from Cloud, like I said, and this is something that they should be used to. When they were playing against BBL last week, the pistol set up in very much a similar fashion.
Yeah, and it's a nicely done. I think Cloud buys so much time for the site anchors. That could have been a much safer round all in. And fist bumps all round. So into the second round with a full buy for Giant X, but there's plenty of targets to try and hit for Ara.
It's a few of them already spotted towards A. Fnatic not coming in here with much. Interesting detail to mention, of course, the last official that Desmo actually played in the official VALORANT pyramid was a 2-0 win over Who Cars in Challengers North Polaris, I know.
Did you say Who Cares?
Well, not too many if we're talking about that team, as Cloud starts to make his way through what is left of this A-hole. Just Kayak left behind. He's blind, stun in front of his face, does get taken out. The player he was subbing for, any ideas?
No, I've got to be thinking about this one. What country was he from?
Sweden.
Wow.
Went on
Leo?
No, Bonka. Then went on, of course, to coach himself. It was the beginning of his career in the slot where we saw that substitution become necessary. So some interesting Northern European Valorant lore for you.
So you're telling me if I can get to like Northeast, I can make it to a champs final?
I mean, maybe, but you're not making it to Northeast, mate. So, you know, we'll shut that down right now.
Just like Giant X are shutting down this round. It's been pretty easy all across the board. That spike looking to blow, and the last two remaining players probably to go alongside it. So a clean round for Giant X, in zone flawless as we expect it has it. And that makes that bonus round a little bit more scary.
Yeah, it does. Desmo maybe looking to get another kill here on the way out if he can land the shot. And that's a massive help, in fact. Oh my God, Desmo! He already has to run it back online. I was just about to mention, building towards that is going to be a win condition for the defense here, but he's the best performing player on Fnatic in these first 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's not something I thought I would say coming into today. But listen, you'll take it. Desmo run it back online, ready to go and frag out.
Oh, Cappy's feeling it.
He definitely is. Let's see what value they can get out of it here. Because GX setting up another round with their A main default, something which they were very good at against BBL, exploiting that weaker side of the hold. Kayak has joined up with Crashies to support this time around, though, and you are expecting a re-clear with the drone. Good information collected.
There it is, but Giant X, methodical in their approach. As always, take a break, see what's coming their way. Not a whole bunch at the moment. Fnatic pretty slow on the uptake in the round after the re-clear.
It's just Desmo on the B site as it stands. Kayak arriving. Very soon could be put under the microscope, but Desmo wants to take this fight. Unfortunately, the gun was jammed or something. No shots fired off the flash. Alpha here in support as well, as Kayak is just bolstering the backside control. Ara gets the plant in and gets out safely.
Yeah, that he does, but Fnatic are straight back onto the spike.
With that, just trying to see if they can bait some more pressure from GX here. And in fact, you're looking at the wraparound from Cloud, gets spotted by Crashies. In transition, still that first tap coming in, and GX know that there is no defuse in progress. Bosa looking to follow this up behind the fast lane, but Westside landing the shots that he needs to. And when it comes down to the 1v1 with Westside, he will win against his fellow countrymen.
A huge clutch up as well towards the end, and that 1v1. A 3-0 lead for Giant X puts them so far in front of Fnatic, and understand with the circumstances, you were always going to favour GX coming into this one, but it has to be said, Fnatic are a well-drilled team, and slotting in a sub wouldn't be as hard as you think.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea there at least to just throw Desmo at it, right, and just try and get some of that information in the mid-round. It does then start to fall apart from there onwards, though. And I mean, if there was anyone to understand the theory of what they're trying to achieve with this change-up in comp, it would be him.
Yeah, but there's understanding the change-up and actually doing it in practice.
Of course. You look back to the last time that Fnatic played Neon on this map with Kayak, it was a loss in OT to KC back in Stage 2 last year. They've been running solo Yoru on here for so long, that, as you say, translating that into an official environment is a completely different conversation. And right now, GX are incredibly patient.
I mean, the good thing for Fnatic is that it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things at this moment in time. Could it cost them the first place? Sure. I mean, Giant X could maybe yoink it away from them.
Or Eternal Fire. Got to consider that result from yesterday as well. But you can see here Desmo getting ready to flash onto the C angle again. And it's a similar story for him, unfortunately. One of the benefits the agent Mitch was talking about on the desk, of course, giving you those tools to set yourself up, and Westside knows it as well. clearing out the backside space and forcing Fnatic into a retake man down.
Yeah, it is a retake, but on top of that, do Fnatic even want to attempt it? We saw it before, they would rather wait for the spike to blow, but it seems as if there's ideas here for Fnatic.
I think Crashy's dying here or finding a kill for the Hunter's Fury would be nice. Looking into the next round, of course, we have to be thinking about those ultimates, and GX closing in on a few more of their own as well. Cloud and Flickless just one away. It's Arrow with the high line right now, though, using this Outlaw to hopefully punish a couple of targets. You can see Boaster brewing that paranoia, but Crashy's the one that gets the all-important kill. Dart connected to the chest of Cloud. In fact, he will find a second before the round is done. GX do convert to 4, but Fnatic with plenty of tools, and so this next round is imperative.
Kayak just going in to see if he can get some ultimate orbs too after his death, so he's one away from the overdrive. So all in, Fnatic are building well, even though they've had a pretty poor run of form in these first 4 rounds.
Nice try.
That's what today has to be all about for Giant X as well. Just build that early momentum and carry it as much as you can. It's one thing to try and get back into a game where you're down however many rounds. It's a different situation when the setup is adjusted, when you're playing with a sub.
I agree for the most part, but this is the worst team to have that early start or good start against. You know, they can bounce back like now as they try to set Kayak up, but uncharacteristically loses that duel.
Crashy's investing the Hunter's Fury down mid. The set piece to start off the round. GX reacting with their own. The run it back towards A has created a lot of space, but there's no one to capitalize on it. Westside not finding a kill through it either. And so only Boaster the backlog to try and defend this right now. The one body on site spotted.
Now the players look to descend upon his position, needs to defend it with his life, and unfortunately it's his life that gets taken instead. So the spike goes down, we're in post, and I think Fnatic are already giving this one up.
Looks to be the case. I mean, Boaster, one of those players who I think is going to be hit harder by the change, honestly, because as we know, as an in-game leader, he has historically been known in the past to want to micromanage, and especially if you have that new player in, you're more tempted to do so. I think that was one of the reasons why they didn't succeed last year in kickoff, because that innate trust hadn't yet been built up, and yeah, with the bit of a reshuffle here, of course, it doesn't help you out anymore. GX finding a 5th, even past that set piece. At least 3 rifles kept, so Fnatic have tools here to buy up into the next round. Gotta say, I've been pretty convinced with how GX have started, though.
Yeah, I think that's the big aspect to this, that GX have just come in so confident and ready to go, but this is where I expect Fnatic to bounce back. Straight away, we're getting a timeout coming through, and Milan a chance to talk to his assistant in the server, as well as the rest of the boys. And I think, for those at home wondering, like, Fnatic, in terms of timeout value that we've had, I can't remember the last time that they didn't get it, right? You think towards that Vitality game when they had to time out because of the early starts Vitality were getting. Also, the fact you think towards last week in Pacific, right? And we saw Fnatic really struggling there on that first map of Split, and Milan really had to get involved and talk to his players. So I think, yeah, that, like, right now, sure, Desmo is the one that's in the server, but a chance for Milan to calm everyone down, settle the nerves, and try and stop what has been a GX whitewash so far.
Yeah, this is GX's map pick, of course. They've won Haven 2 weeks in a row. And looking back at that BBL game, the majority of the rounds were won on the attack side to start things off. I mentioned this A default a couple of times. Looks like Fnatic are trying to play around that a little bit more. I'm seeing way more intent to hold on-site rather than play for these set retakes. As we know, it's very difficult to do against this kind of composition. And with their choice of side starting out on the defense, yeah, maybe they're anticipating a bit of a slow start. Interesting to note that GX have the fastest attack speed on Haven in EMEA.
I think it makes sense. A very set-piece oriented team.
It's another bit of a quick one just to get Ara out into long with support.
Crashy's going for the reclear with the drone, or at least thinking about it. Wants to get Kayak on the line as well.
I think Kayak already embedded in sewers, though, is the main issue of the round that GX are going to be forced to address. With Boaster arriving, Cypher set up on C and Desmo plugging in the gaps. GX waiting for that first contact. Kayak peeking in, but Westside on the line ahead of time. And with the pole punished, that is a huge first blood to find at this stage.
Yeah, and this was where the drone comes out instead, though. Ara trying to hide away, but forced to destroy. So it makes you question, is Ara the point of contact to hit the site or just to create a little bit of distraction?
This is one of the ways in which GX can develop that double duelist, as Ara is continuing to try and fake the A site, or at least create that presence as Cloud invests the ultimate. Desmo holding down the line in Garage, flashes in the first time, won't follow it up, and Westside nails him through the wall. All eyes on Alpha yet. He has to be the last line of defense on the C site here, and has done enough to stall them out.
Yeah, GX have thought about this twice, but look at Crashes.
Up in window already, the spray transfer won't connect, and with Westside finding that kill, the path has been paved towards an open A site. Ara the satellite commanding him over.
Yeah, there's plenty of time to get this spike down. I don't think Fnatic will want to put bodies on the line, but it's Boaster in the back lines we've got to pay real attention to.
Spike planted.
Ruby already prepared for this. The steps heard entering lobby on the angle. And with that, Boaster goes down, leaving only Alpha left in a 1v3, which he will not win. The streak of 6 continuing, GX in full control.
Yeah, even with a bye, after the timeout, Fnatic cannot respond. And they try to create different issues here, right? With the operator of Kayak, trying to introduce a flank to the retake as well. Sure, they're one player down in that situation, but GX...
Come on, turn the radio on.
What was that?
I don't know, mate.
Sound like a TV jingle. Grubby supermarket poster boy or something? I don't know. I've not heard that one before.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll need to see. I mean, maybe he can come up with something else for us, right, as we continue on, because right now, he's certainly loving life here.
Yeah. He is, right? And I think he, alongside a couple other players on this side, are those players which work so well in the system that Pipson has created. He was one of the pickups towards the end of last year. When the meta didn't suit them, there was a confidence dip across the board, and Grubby taking the brunt of that hit at times.
Take flight.
GX looking to really hammer home this advantage now, as a little bit of A pressure translates to a C hit.
It's Alpha, the one to hold it down, and we know he is good for it. Manages to dodge all the utility, and when he gets a chance, snatches at it, but unfortunately ends up going. Boaster now showing us the goods, but can't quite get it done. It's up to Desmo and Crashes is nowhere near. He's going to be first point of contact on this retake.
Grubby had so much impact last week. 5 clutches and counting this stage. Can he add a 6th here?
Would be huge. Hits 2 TPs.
Players are split up on the Fnatic side, then Grubby has a decent reposition for this plant, but do Fnatic identify that?
That's the question. The wraparound has worked to perfection. As we see, there is one smoke coming online. That drone identifies him. And Desmo responds perfectly. Fnatic with their first round.
And it's Desmo that has helped them to it. A couple of key kills, one on the C site and then on the retake towards A. Thought for a moment Crashes was going to get caught with that drone.
One enemy remaining.
But this was some very assured shots from him.
I mean, the thing is, it has to be respected, right? Desmo did have talent in Tier 2. It's not like you've just got a random assistant being thrown into the mix.
That's true. He was part of the fully Danish Alliance rebuild from 2022. There was a point in time where he had his part to play, but again, we can blow dust off the tomes as much as we like. We're in present day 2026. And Fnatic have their first round on Haven, a map which they are yet to win so far this year.
Yeah, and Fnatic are trying to create a trap here, using the smoke against GX.
See the molly in the corner, already starting to scorch some of these players down. Already damage onto Cloud, followed up brilliantly by Boaster in sewer, but GX react to it. Alfia starting to head over, and with Westside just making sure that the ult is still safe. He clears out some of the space, but doesn't find the Sentinel just yet. now has a bit of an idea, and as those shots fire off, Ara repositioning to help his teammate.
Yeah, that's big information for Alpha to respond, but both players now together, it's going to be a difficult one for the Sentinel.
Say that, it's only West Side here. Ara continuing that walk forwards, and now arriving in heaven. Alpha with a couple to find, spots the first, anticipates the second, but can't find the shot in the end. And GX are back to winning ways.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you Alpha can pull anything into the realms of possibility. We've seen that in grand finals on an international stage. And it seems that Fnatic still just have a bye, and they're going to force into this next one. But it's 7-1, Giant X with a brilliant opportunity to extend this lead and really punish Fnatic's defense.
It's actually hot hands, bro. It's your agent. That's fine.
It was a great Phoenix molly. And looking at it here, GX wanting to continue to command the play. The C hit coming in at some velocity. Alpha struggling to withstand the force, but 4 players arriving, and I think GX start to realize this. Alpha takes the peak ahead of time. Not the kind of play you'd expect from a solo Sentinel.
Ara being deposited though for a late re-clear if they want to. In fact, actually, I think they're going to split this, Hazza.
They read the initial rotation, and now it actually looks like GX want to double back down. Kayak cautious on the clear, Ara the one that catches him. And with 2 kills now towards this left-hand side, GX continuing the freeze with 50 seconds or so remaining.
Yeah, Crashes has gone looking up A long. He's the next one under fire.
In what has been a very well-handled round so far from GX, Crashy spotting that trap hasn't altered the look of this defense all too much so far. Only so much he can do from this position, and with GX given room to set up the post plant on B, should be heading towards a round win.
Yeah, especially with the utility left in GX's pockets, although there is a dart on Fnatic and also 2 flashes on Desmo.
See if he can find a way to use them. Has been very self-sufficient so far in the way that he's played it. Garage control a necessity at this stage in the round, so as part of the re-clear, Desmo here to try and play back in off the timing of Crashes. Flash is perfect, shot's good enough, but Ara is there again. Omnipresent so far in the round, and with the rest of GX just cleaning things up, it has been exactly the first half that they were looking for.
Yeah, fans in the arena, and they are in for a treat right now as GX look to confirm playoffs and potential group toppers as well. With next week to confirm that, I'm going to leave that to the permutation people, but right now we can see that Fnatic are really panicking and they're going to go for the second timeout.
Yeah, you understand the reasons why. I think when you look at GX, their win conditions do sit on this attack side. Their defense, not as great, but enough to win them the map 13-11 last week. And here, Fnatic, as I said, this was a key map in their pool for champs. They were undefeated there, where they've struggled to find a win so far this year. The Yoru meta actually wasn't the best for them here playing solo duelist in the end with the way that the results ended up. So this is a good change, but I think the fact that they are wounded coming into this week, it leaves a sour taste, right? You're just trying to learn those lessons and take what you can from this game.
Yeah, it does feel tough, right? Because coming into this match, I was really excited. A GX on the rise, a Fnatic who obviously have been so dominant.
Yeah.
Do we get to see that kind of a proper matchup, right? Because you think towards that split 2 game that these two played against one another, it felt as if that was a limping Fnatic. And now, I don't know, I just don't get what was promised.
Yeah, no, I understand it, right? I think this is a crucial stage in the year for Fnatic. When you look back historically, this has always been where they bag those champs points, typically, and secure themselves for the latter stages, something which they really required on that run into Paris and what the preparation looked like, as their first ever loss to GX happened in the lower bracket. If there was any kind of a result today, it would just be a further testament to the structure and system that has been built over the years. Much like Cloud, Boaster, one of those 5 players that has stayed on the same org since the start of partnerships.
Feels like he's part of the furniture at this point.
Same with Alpha.
Yeah, 100%.
But with it just being pistols on this round, you can see GX are still giving so much respect to their opponent.
Yeah, and you've got to, right? You know the players that have that are on Fnatic, where they've been to, even just more recently in terms of the Champs Grand Final last year. Although Alpha now looking for his next engagement, and he can hear the drone coming his way.
It's a position sidelined by the pipe here in sewers. It catches all of the info. 4 players walking down long, sent in the direction of Boaster. If he can just scalp a weapon here, off Flickless, there might be half a chance. Boaster bailing him out by finding one on the site itself as well would only be more compounded by Kayak getting anything done. But Ara sprays 3 through smoke, and you can just forget about it.
I think the big thing here is Fnatic are missing their superstars. The fact that Desmo is top of the leaderboard sums things up at this moment in time. Kayak is 3-10. I cannot remember a game where Kayak was this low in the leaderboards.
Of course, we have seen his Neon improve a lot, I think, over the year so far. It's been a necessary adaptation, even away from the Waylay on the Lotus, for example. But yeah, we need to see the individuals come online because there's only so much you can talk about this one change and not have the rest of the team perform.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing.
On the flip side, GX have passed every test that they've been asked of. That they are playing in this way, I think, in part as well, because they're just waiting to see what's getting thrown at them. This is a Fnatic that we've not seen in this condition or with these agents on this map so far.
Yeah.
It's a mirror pick.
Well, it's a good test, I guess, at the very least, as the drone does spot Kayak's operator at the end, and he's been forced all the way back. The Hunter's Fury providing a real issue, and he cannot get out. Desmo takes a step forward, though, looking to try and brawl, gets his health back from the Blaze Wall, and that flash is good, but can't even get his rifle up. Flickless too fast. Flickless, another opportunity that he'll win out. So this is 5 versus 2, and Crashes nowhere near this side of the map. Double digits for Giant X is on the horizon.
It looks almost concrete at this point in time, unless Crashes can do something about it in the 1v3. Westside eager to peek it, and he will find it ahead of time. There you go, double digits for GX with the first 11 rounds played. Looked like there was a moment where Fnatic might come back into things, but as it stands, it's just been one-way traffic.
Do you know what's funny? If Fnatic hadn't won that one round, we'd be on for a 13-0.
Oh, let's not.
And if I was going to say there'd be another 13-0 with us casting and Giant X playing.
Yeah, watch your mouth.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying that Fnatic were going to get 13.
No, I know. I'm just saying that
just in case the Horde come after me on Twitter.
There are enough GX fans in the house that have suffered those defeats that I think they would rather forget about it. Aggressive move from Fnatic down mid. This a chance for them to get one back. Desmo finally ripping the ult of his own. Kayak combining from the A lobby side, and they've managed to make this a 3v2.
Yeah, that's it. And already Ara popping his ultimate. Kayak very, very low though, and that's a big point in this round that could go Giant X's favour, but Ara turns away at the wrong point.
First contact through Garage. Cloud catching wind of it, knows where at least 2 players are, and now looking to reposition around the default box. The drone just closing in the distance to his position. Can't find the first fight. Desmo again, delivering big value with his part to play in the game today. It's only a second round for Fnatic, an olive branch to hang on perhaps. Not the kind of half they would have wanted, but a silver lining at the very end.
Yeah, I think it's certainly something to build upon. This second half though, if Giant X win the pistol round, you're fully expecting them to go on and win the map.
I think to make a good team successful, it's not all about having players in one category. You could have 5 cracked players, but if one of them has a bad personality that doesn't mesh with the team, that could send the team spiraling into all sorts of mental battles. So I think you need one of each. Having players with aim is my go-to, so I try and get players that can kill. It's less so about aim, it's actually, I like to find players that know how to kill. I can teach a player to calm down his negative traits. I can teach a player to relax a little bit in squeaky bum time scenarios. I can teach a player to play as a teammate and behave as a teammate, but I can't teach a player to kill. And so that's the most important one, I think. And every player should know how to kill, and then everything else is learned along the job. So for me, I think leadership and cohesion and atmosphere is really important with a team. So if you can get a player that can also like bond well with the players, I think that's really strong. And then the rest is kind of like free, you know, to do whatever you like. But I think killers with ability to be good teammates is my go-to. Yeah, I think Vikaj has really settled in well with the team now. In terms of an atmospheres, we're really good. Team is always in pretty good atmosphere, but this year it's just as good as last year's. I'm really happy with Vikaj. I'm really happy with Desmo and what he's been able to contribute to the team as an assistant coach. And I think the boys are in good spirits, you know. We didn't qualify, which is a bit sad, but ultimately we were able to reset and focus on our next task at hand, which is stage 1. So I'd say we're pretty good, to be fair. I actually quite like not going to Chile in a weird way. Any team I'm currently afraid of? Oh, well. Fun fact, no, because a lot of the teams were Euro 1 tricks that qualified to... EB had Lovers Rock on Euro, Gentlemates had Martin on Euro, and now Euro's dushed. Are there any teams I'm scared of? Not really. Obviously, these teams should still be fine with the swaps, but I'm really looking forward to this meta because I think it suits Fnatic quite a lot and suits my cool style. And so far, so good, so I'm not scared of anyone.
Some really interesting information from Boaster there, talking, of course, about Vikaj, Desmo, the team atmosphere, and how that's obviously changed today, I imagine. But Santiago as well, right? And missing out on that, the extra preparation that they receive, I think, kind of reminds me of the last time we saw them play GX. They were looking really burnt out by the end of the gauntlet in the previous year, but that gave them more time to set up for Paris, which ended up being the deepest run we've ever seen from them at Champs. So looking at it here, right, one step at a time.
Yeah.
GX, on the other hand, this is a ridiculous turnaround for the organization and the players.
No, 100%. The big thing that is in Giant X's favor right now is the fact that there is no more Fnatic timeouts. They can just head forward. If things are going good, they're going to be great. And we're expecting them to hit that finish line. But for Fnatic, they basically have to count on Pipson going for timeouts if the going gets tough. And you can see Fnatic doing their usual, playing really, really slow and investigating every avenue.
Camera taken out.
Flickless just watching over Garage as both of the Cypher players currently stand at a stalemate. Cloud in the meantime trying to re-clear some of the A space, and that's actually where the spike is headed. It's being escorted along here, but it's not going to get far. Still, two players can't pass Cloud, and it's almost a quad. Boaster the only one to offer some respite.
30
and
seconds
still,
left.
4 more targets in front of him. The captain has led by example many times in the past, but this doesn't feel like one of them. Flickless is there for it, and GX have the all-important pistol.
Yeah, that's what we expect. Them to go straight to 12 as well, because they have the advantage coming in on the buy. This should be as good as done. And on such a Fnatic map as well, even though it is Giant X's pick, sure, but historically...
I will not do it. I will not do it. I don't have it in me, bro. I don't have it in.
He was thinking about the knife.
No, I actually respect that from him as well, of course. I think GX would have much preferred this win to come on different circumstances, but it's not done yet. Fnatic are forcing up, and, well, with 11 rounds, the score count for GX, you understand the reasons why. It's do or die.
Yeah, it certainly is. And to hit the B site, this is exactly where you would want a low buy, close-range weaponry, but they've not identified Grubby at the back.
Brilliant.
As it continues on, with support from Ara and Westside, yeah, this is as good as done now. Alpha has to get a 1v5 or collect the spike at the same time. It's almost impossible.
So Fnatic just can't find the breakthrough. It's looking dusky for them now as GX are so prepared for that B hit to come in. Grubby playing backside from the spawn barrier. Great utility to tee it up, and Ara sliding in with the judge. I was talking about it before from that bigger picture, but them looking competitive in this meta and now really starting to master double duelist more, where it was double initiator last year, has been something to behold, I think. And just the confidence from the Pacific result into beating BBL, which has struggled, now looks to get one step better. An in-zone flawless to find their 12th round here on Haven. GX's pick, but a difference of 10 rounds to start.
From strength to strength, it looks good for Giant X and their fans. I mean, everybody was wondering, was that a one-split wonder last year in Split 2? I think the big questions were, will they come back into Split 1 and show us the goods once that Euro meta had gone? And it looks like that is the case.
Yeah. Last chance for Fnatic. They're still going to buy up the Stingers here. Looking for something fast-paced and already bypassing that initial A-long line. A regroup and retool from GX's. 3 bodies already arriving. 3 blue shirts ready to receive the A push. Side first up inside this smoke. And Desmo uses the utility to force him out of position. A 1-for-1 trade through Cloud, but look at the position of Alpha here already.
Yeah, he's buying the players to go elsewhere, and that's exactly what Fnatic do. They do not waste any time making that decision. But you can see Giant X at the same time exploring the map through Grubby.
This is a brilliant call from Boaster as well, actually, to take it one step further and go C. Understanding B was clear. Alpha now with a chance at a backstab, gonna find the first and the second as well. And so things looking a little better for Fnatic and Alpha here. Still rifles, or a rifle in the hands of Cloud though. Has to be watching out for Kayak, who is starting to close the net up here. Stinger at range, will he, won't he? Misses the chance, and that might have just left the door open. Crashy's still here looking for one of his own, waits for the drone, and he's a little more forgiving, doesn't go for the knife. Grubby in a 1v2, no smoke. Difficult to try and play around this. Headshot onto the dome of Crashies, but Boaster not too far behind. Eventually able to melt through him, but needs half at this point in time. Crashies emptying the utility belt to just stall out the play, and he's done enough to win it by the clock. A third for Fnatic in the end, at a very hefty cost.
Yeah, it is a hefty cost, but you'll be glad just to be alive if you're Fnatic here. Right now, Giant X have every opportunity to go straight back in with the economy, but is it the last chance? Because the economy breaks with a loss of the next round, and I do worry a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, right, Fnatic rebuying. Every round they win is another round they get to play at this stage. It's a team famed for their comebacks, but even this, just unrealistic. Ara has the Outlaw out, and I think that's the one thing that we have to mention here with so much damage taken in the previous. There are a lot of light shields, or nothing at all if you're talking Alpha and Crashies, already onboarding a bit of damage in that exchange on C-Long.
Going to be watching for the Omen on top of B site. As you can see, Fnatic looking to re-clear here. This off angle could break the round, catch Fnatic off guard. Can't lose Boaster here. As Grubby just goes into his smoke at the right time, favouring Fnatic.
The trap is set up here, though, immediately. As soon as that contact is hit, Flickless is here to help support. A blind Kayak is a dead one. And with Grubby still just setting this up, shouldering the burden, Flickless supports, and that might just be it. Fnatic locked out without a way back into the round. If not for Alpha, already spotted in Garage. Ara will delete him. And like that, GX are on the warpath.
30 seconds left.
A exceptional set of circumstances coming into the day, but an opportunity which they have seized with both hands so far. A 13-3 domination on Haven to start off this series.
The double duelist with a Phoenix in here, that's the way to play it, that if you're running a Neon Waylay, it doesn't really work. I guess we're going to find out.
Well, we are going to see. Yeah, we are going to find out. There is no double duelist. If Phoenix is not in the mix, they're going to go with double initiator. That is Giant X with the Tejo and the Sky for their side. On the side of Fnatic, the Waylay is back. And before today, before the map that we just saw in Haven, the only map that Fnatic had lost in this regular season was Bind against Eternal Fire. A very, very close series that got until the last point. But again, that was week 1 when Waylay looked a little bit different and it had a little bit more impact, a little bit more facilities to get onto the side and have the impact that we know her to have.
I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to come near disrespecting Desmo on the Viper, his 5th official, but I think he's going to light it up. But when it comes to GX, you know, I love the double initiator. Back in the day, Flickless on a KO is burned into my mind for every piece of utility as well. But the Sky here makes so much more sense, especially in this meta.
But you have Cloud. You have Cloud. Why is Cloud not playing Sky? why? Like, I'm sorry, but wouldn't it make more sense to keep Westside maybe on that double duelist? I know that this goes against what Pipson is saying, but Flickless is also looking so good in the sense.
I told you earlier, they've not won a map with single duelists. It's only been double duelists that they've been able to make work. So this would be the first time that this system and this look actually works for them. That said, you know, they're up against a Fnatic who seem to be limping into this map. So there's a good chance that they're about to set the record straight.
Well, now I do wonder, is it a Fnatic that's going to have that time to turn around? Is it going to be a great showing for Giant X on their first bind for stage 1? These questions that I would normally ask you guys, but instead, I'm going to ask our casters, Hazard and Cairo.
Yeah, questions which we will soon get the answers to, right, Hazard? We think towards Spain, we think towards these two teams. And as Mitch said, Fnatic limping into this one after what was a very poor Haven performance, and GX playing a double initiator that hasn't really had much success recently.
Yeah, you can see on the faces of the Fnatic players, they're still trying to keep the vibes up here, and I think this first half makes or breaks this series. If there is to be any signs of life, any comeback, it has to happen on this attack side. We only saw 4 rounds from them here the last time that they played it up against Eternal Fire, that map loss that they had only previously taken coming into this one. Haven now behind them, and Bind making all of the difference here, honestly, to whether this group then delves into chaos. Of course, GX locking playoffs with a win, and that means that either one of Vitality or BBL would end up missing out.
So can Fnatic turn this limp into a sprint, or at least a jog? That's what we want, to make this competitive. It is their pick, that's the most important part. And with barriers dropping, we look towards B long straight off.
Default all placed. Ara and Flickless behind this, with Grubby the rear guard of the site itself. We've been transitioning into a bit of proactivity here from the defense. Didn't get to see too much of it, of course, on the previous map.
Still, the pace of this round dropped all the way to a crawl. As Fnatic wait for some hint of a hold, something in which they can initiate off the back of a play. It's just Crashes to go looking for info off the back of the Sky Dog. Sees 2 players in towards Hookah, but elsewhere they begin to scale on towards A.
Yeah, no rotation yet made for GX. Already Westside just testing there as Cloud catches Kayak on the slide into Lamps, still holding down this position. Salvo's available to slow the plant progress, but that's already gone in. And on the other side, there's a 2-player flank happening. Both are trying to weather the storm as much as possible, bring the molly out to stop it. But as Cloud wraps back around from Lamps, the rest of GX connect the dots into a 2-on-2. Desmo's got it all to do, and Desmo's doing it!
Huge clutch from the sub, the assistant coach. Where does that come from? Yeah, did not expect that one at all. But listen, if you're Fnatic, you're happy, you've got yourself started off right, because it took a long time for them to get their first round in that last map.
I mean, at what point do we start to think Desmo's missed out on a bit more of an extensive playing career here? Because he is surpassing expectations so far. And when you look at GX on this map, this is now them re-debuting it. They haven't solidified their identity yet here. Back to the solo duelist, of course, where we saw experiments with the Yoru in Clash. Their kickoff composition was with the Sage on Westside, not really enabling any of his individual strengths other than the fact that he could just go and take fights as he wanted.
Oh. There's 4 players here for Giant X if Fnatic scale in here.
With Althea finding that kill onto Cloud on the other extremity now, that should be the call to action for the Spike to head elsewhere.
Yeah, you'd expect that to be the case, a formality now.
Nice and slow now.
And yeah, I mean, the way that this has started for Fnatic, getting themselves into position, a bandit, a couple of upgrades, it seems as if Giant X are happy to let the Spike go down and die to the Spike where needed.
I mean, look, with this being a late change, maybe, if you want to read into it, Fnatic, given the time to prepare one map, had focused a little bit more on their own selection, Bind. And if they can find a way to build that confidence round to round, then who knows?
Yeah. I think that's the big thing here coming into it. Trying to show something different, right? You've got to be thinking of the maps that both teams have shown so far. Obviously, Bind being shown by Fnatic, it was actually won out by, I believe it was Eternal Fire that they played it on right in that overtime match. Trying to improve on what was already, let's be honest, a pretty strong performance against a really good opponent. With a couple of war orbs going either way, and the rest going to the spike. That's a denial for Fnatic to get any momentum heading out of this round.
Yeah, you can see smiles on the faces as well. 3 rifles carried into this follow-up round. And right now, they've dealt with GX pretty well. As I was saying, they're yet to really show us and cement...
More actually. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
What kind of Valorant it is that they want to play here. So are we going to get any more proactivity from them? Is it this more receptive style where they're waiting for Fnatic to do something? We've seen in the past that doesn't tend to work against their trademark style.
Well, the Neon just seen by Kayak there, starting to retreat. And Fnatic heading towards A, and I mean, GX are moving pieces towards this side of the map, or I thought it was as the sky was moving. This would be huge if GX were to be proactive. It's not going to be the case. So it's a full force of Fnatic against only 2 anchors.
Yeah, it's Flickless with a full utility belt as well on this sky for the first time, which makes you worry a little bit about the application here, as Westside has found the first of the fights on backside A. Desmo just scorching Cloud in the molly on the way back through as GX are looking to re-engage here up close. Kayak finds the kill which he needs, and off the back of that, Crashies is there to fill in the gaps. So Fnatic on the road to the bonus round win. And with that, GX yet to really show signs of life themselves.
Yeah, it's worrying, but when we think towards history, we think towards what Giant X have played this year. They've played it Bind 3 times, right, in VCT, and not won a single one of them. And that's a worrying sign coming in towards stage 1, where you're like, well, the meta does kind of favour them in a way. They've managed to get a bit of a personality, their own style of play in stage 1. So does it continue on like that? Do we get to see that response come through?
Yeah, that's exactly my point, right? Double Duelist was working really well for them. They've moved away from it on this map specifically. And then when you look at, you know, the amount of reps that they've had on it in official so far, we've just not seen it. So I think the only way you can see it right now, if it continues like this, as it being a gap in their map pool, one which maybe needs a bit more time. Flickless has looked fantastic playing Sentinel, but on the sky already, I'm maybe seeing it look a little less intuitive of a pickup from him. So still a rifle here retained on Ara. That's looking for the B long fight early, but Kayak already dealing chip damage.
Trying to hide the steps of the drone. Doesn't get anything on the scan though. And does Fnatic look to pick up after that? Spike not committed towards anywhere, so obviously expecting the GX defense to be elusive. And it seems to be the case as they start to move bodies towards A.
Yeah, Spike is still sitting back in cave, so Alphier again on Fnatic's two-pronged approach is the protagonist here. He's gonna miss the shot on Ara, an ever mobile one, making his way back on A. It's a rifle, Outlaw recovered by Flickless here, and the stall on the B site isn't incredible, so Fnatic should have a chance to plant, but the spike's still not arrived as Boaster's looking for an orb.
Yeah, it's given a chance for GX to collect all the forces, although Kayak in behind.
Just trying to move up, undetected, under the nose of GX, and with a third finding its way through the smoke. Kayak on for an ace, 2 bullets left, and while he won't find it immediately, the impact has already been felt, and from what GX had here, they've been ground down to dust. The ace denied by Flickless as he finds his first in this map. And when it rains, it pours. It looks like it's going to be 3 for Flickless. Now the clutch is on.
A good chance. Poster far away, though, and already the molly used. That should be it. That should be done. Great attempt by Flickless in the end, who was lights out last week. But Fnatic are still up to 4.
Such an important 4 rounds for them to find. We were just saying in the build-up how this half is make or break for their chances in the series. And already just seeing some of the individuals looking a bit better is...
Put me on broadcast now, bro. Nerfed is neon, guys. Hello!
John Wright on speed dial.
Yeah, that's a bit mental, right?
Yeah, online. EVS team putting him on the spot there. But yeah, of course. As I was saying, though, very quickly, the individuals are shooting on Fnatic now, where it was Desmo doing the heavy lifting in the previous map. A complete no-show across the board, I think it's fair to say, on Haven. Starting to get the best from Fnatic again, and that's where you are less worried for them here.
I guess so, but maybe some more issues to think about in terms of slow starts that we've seen from Fnatic, and maybe that looking worse with Desmo in the mix, right? It's not the original 5, but that's a problem that Fnatic will have to think about later.
Arrow watching over Sand with this operator, comes off the line just as we cross the minute mark, and maybe reading into the tendencies of Fnatic a little bit as they pressure from Market side, West side himself. Still playing from Heaven, very passive on these A-holds, RGX, not looking to deny the spike at all.
No, definitely not. West side out of Heaven, a quick trade, and Alpha trying to buy delay through the ultimate. Although nobody attempts to deny the spike, only through utility, so this is held for post.
When you look at the tools here for Fnatic, they want to try and fight this.
And Alpha want to fight forward, Poster with a cut double. And I think that could just be it, but Ara has no way out and has to fight his way to safety. Or at least fight his way to a spike defuse if he wants to go for this one, but towards the back of site he goes, and towards the forever box as well. So Fnatic up to 5.
A rallying cry from the supporters in-house as Fnatic have answered that call so far. Maybe not about the neon, but about the result, as it is more pressing at the time being. GX, first time out for them in this series. They were happy to just play ball on Haven, of course, roll with the punches, but now there are issues which need to be addressed.
Yeah, there really are, right? And you look towards this double initiator lineup that GX are playing, something that we link a lot with them as a roster in their playstyle, right? Especially from that split 2 when they played against the Green. But so far, I'm not convinced, right? You're seeing the tail being used to try and, I guess, kind of deny and delay, but realistically, it's not being used to like, I guess, create a perimeter of defense, like not being used to deny long and B, right, for instance, and other portions of the map like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. With how GX are positioned on site in a lot of these rounds, they aren't set up to actually capitalize off of that utility, is the point that you're making. I mean, you look at Westside's positioning, for example, on a number of these rounds, when he is in A Heaven. When he was on the Sage before, he was walling out of that smoke and taking crazy duels. On the Viper now, you're the anchor a lot of the time, and so it is your job, in effect, to be that first line of defense. And I think that with how GX have played historically on this map, it has been dumping the util and actually surging forward. So going back to the conversation of identity, that's what we're looking out for. Timeout concluded. Just the one rifle with Flickless as it stands. But if there are any win conditions on this round, it would be the ults that are just a single point away.
I agree, but also the trap that's being brewed towards B long, right? You can see the sky alongside Ara. This poison orb, an issue. A silent jump, just missed out on catching the players. It's a good flash, and the Guardian comes through at the right time as alongside the ult. Kayak can't quite get his, and Ara getting a few of his own. As right now it looks all GX. And for them to get the first round, and what has been 6 in total, sure it's been a long time, but better late than never.
And no better time than on the eco as well. It's a brilliant call from the coaches into the pause, so you'd assume, right? Not often we see them introduce themselves. GX very happy to keep playing to their own tune a lot of the time, unless any modifications really need to be made. And with Cloud closing up behind, it is the Thrifty that we expect. The question for me now, Cairo, is there a way to translate that to more consistent success?
I mean, that's the question you do ask yourself. I think there is, right? Because we think towards Giant X and we speak about the identity of the team. It's very set-piece heavy, we know that, and that was a very nice set-piece. So can we see more of that? Can we see them maybe go for a TP play towards Showers, right? Through B long. These are all possibilities. 3 strong towards the A side, and this is where Fnatic want to hit.
Yeah, Fnatic with something from their own strat book here, actually. Hinder landing in on the defender side of Showers on the site itself. No one there to capitalize on it fully. Kayak still just creeping closer, caught by the stun, and Cloud peeking off it, but Kayak burying him where he stands. Ara, with the last bit of strength, their backside gives it up.
Yeah, the Seekers do come back in. This is a real possibility still for GX, even with the pit.
And with the operator that's got to try and find its way back through. I mean, Boaster, Desmo still holding on to mollies. So the longer this round goes, the less likely it is for GX. The window of opportunity starting to close for them. Crashy's playing around the edge of the pit and slams the door shut. Fnatic from 5 back up to 6. And with GX breaking the streak, it's only a moment of respite.
Yeah, it's like deja vu from the last map. This time, though, it's Fnatic winning out. Ara can't quite connect his operator, and he needs to defend his position with Crashes coming in from the other side of the map. There was no way out for Ara. And it feels like it's just salt in the wound at this moment in time.
Even after the change-up from Giant X, feels like Fnatic still have no issue gaining access to the site. Post-plant was fantastic, ults invested just to secure it. GX will have tools of their own coming into what becomes such a prominent purchase at this stage in the game for them to give themselves 2 legs to stand on coming into that second half. We speak about this game being an opportunity for them to maybe knock Fnatic while they're down and secure a playoff spot.
Yeah, but we also spoke about how with Fnatic, it's such a well-drilled core that very easily it could turn on its head. And it's going to do that once again towards the A side as they come through. GX able to get one through West side, but he's still under fire. Identifies that one more player could be coming his way and wins that duel. So GX, at least one in front for the time being. Seekers heading in, identifying player's position, but the spike's still not down.
Fnatic just waiting for an overpeak, something to punish from this position.
That's where the roadman fall, but Boaster through the boxes is going to get one back in their favour. So a tap of the spike and waiting for the next peak. It doesn't come through. In fact, it does through West side, but who's usually a sharp shooter cannot connect the shots. Going for it again. Boaster knows that it's coming. Ara just stagnant towards the back, and Flickless now being played in. It's Fnatic once again, slow roll the round, but playing Flickless at the right time. It's just Alpha now to clutch up in a 1 versus 1. He knows where the opposite sky is and goes for the fight. Up to 7 off Fnatic and a Red Bull clutch for Alpha.
Yeah, it's a very disciplined post-plant setup for Fnatic there. I say post-plant, the spike never went down. Just waiting with bated breath for GX to offer them the jewels, the extra security that they required. And when it comes down to Alpha, he makes no mistake about it.
Nice, come on. Sit the f down, bro. Sit the f down.
Okay. Boaster just addressing the other side of the stage as Fnatic are well on their way now.
Oh. Yeah, West side though might be on its way towards the spectator screen. Lovely from Kayak. And that spike now into post.
GX don't have all too much coming back into this retake.
Yeah, but they want to fight it nevertheless. Interesting that they picked this opportunity to go for it, considering the money that they have. Fleckless, the only purchase really in the form of a Guardian, and Fnatic just fighting forward continuously. There is a Bucky on Ara, sure it's the Neon, sure it's overpowered, let's be honest, but it's not going to get a whole bunch. So Fnatic up to 8.
Fnatic just speed running their way to that second half now. Of the 8 rounds that they've won, almost over half on elimination, 3 on spike detonation. GX just haven't been in with a shout on a lot of these. And it's Alpha and Kayak that are so explosive. As much as we had mentioned the double duelist development on the GX side, I think the fact that Fnatic are starting to get this partnership right between the two is a huge turning point for the roster.
Could be.
Here it is again.
Another turning point in the series, perhaps, as Kayak. Oh, his entry not as confident as last time. Alpha's, though, successful. And you can see Ara has gone for a TP to support Cloud. That drone getting a good few scans and delaying any more utility.
Salvos could be nice here.
Could be, but not a whole bunch coming off the back of it. Fnatic having to try and defend their position, but they've done so before, and they'll do so again. Still the advantage going. Nobody really taking this round by their own 2 hands.
Oh,
and Boaster might be the one to do it, in fact. Cloud's low, Fleckless still a world away, but Fnatic won't get caught off guard twice by that same position. Surely, right? Someone turns round.
I mean, Alpha had just checked it, but he's not looking anymore. Crashes is this time.
Cloud is going for the wraparound as well. Crash is the one to hold the post plant towards CT, and I think that just might be it. In a 3 versus 1, Cloud only on 30 HP, and Fnatic all the way up to 9.
It's another situation where Fnatic just show that next level of awareness. The Showers fight is what they were looking for early doors, but when Kayak loses that, it throws the round into trepidation. They just need that extra bit of real estate to make the plant comfortable. So they're waiting and waiting for those fights to go their way.
What a play, Jake. What a play,
Knowing
Jake.
exactly when to take the timings. And with 9 now set up, looks like it might be back to another default, but GX want to be the protagonist in this situation.
It's taken them so long to make up their minds whether they want to play on the front foot, but not really leaving towards a shot. I begins to ask questions about GX, right? Are they too scared of their opponents? Because right now, Fnatic have decided to take another option towards that B site, and it's West side all alone. But he's still a capable adversary and does it just as well to get 1 kill.
Spike is not fully committed here though, and actually Kayak is playing between the lines. He could catch a rotation. It's Ara that finds him instead.
Yeah, that's a real issue. And how do you get back into this round if you're Fnatic, right? Boaster making the TP, giving it away, but Crash is so deep towards the A site.
I mean, even Flickless here watching a potential double flank in spawn.
Yeah, and well, Crashes gets that kill. So the post plant towards CT, Fnatic able to set themselves up for double digits in the best way possible. 3 on 3, and everything in their favour. Look at the ultimates already used. Seekers for 1. You've got the orbital strike on Boaster, but he was playing a little bit far too forward for Malik, and that's why he drops back, looking to play for post. Crashes so good, especially on that Sky. And Fnatic are shown as a different side. Double digits in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day, right? Fnatic doing exactly what GX did to them only a map ago. And the bind looking that much more secure. Boaster, again, finding big kills at key stages of the round. Crashes as well. Just an overall performance boon across the board.
They walked out on A too.
And it flashed up there on screen for just a second. GX's successes in the retake sitting at a measly 29%. They've not really been in a viable situation to go for them most of the time. The damage happens before the spike's on the deck.
Once again, another slow roll, another Round crawls towards its finish. Westside once again left all alone as the utility has been absolutely spot on, calling for support, and when he's seen again, good for at least one on his sight hold. But it's Kayak against Flickless that we need to be worried about. And any players that come out of hookah.
Yeah, the hookah control here is everything for GX in the retake, but Flickless has to hold the line and does.
Yeah, very successful, very good for GX on the retake, but how many times have we seen Fnatic go down without a fight? Very rarely do we, as Crashes looks to go for the next one. Nope, decides not. Wants to go and bunker down on site. Ara stuck on a pistol or a judge. Needs to make up his mind as Crashes gets caught off guard. Alpha from up top. Can't quite catch Ara. It's up to Desmo, who can't clutch. So GX double up the round count for this first half.
It's a really well-adjusted retake that GX are able to actualize just as soon as we criticize them for not finding one. In from long, on the ground. And Ara turning up right at the tail end of the first half. So much work to be done for them to rectify this, but coming onto the attack side now, there is a serious opportunity for them. But let's hear from some of our co-streamers on site. We've got Yashik and Karim.
Yeah, it isn't just the fans that are in the arena today. We, of course, have some co-streamers, too. I'm going to start off with our #1 Fnatic fan in the house. Karim, how long have you been a Fnatic fan for?
Actually, I'm Kayak friend, so when he joined to the Fnatic, I just I'm being proud to be fan of Fnatic right now. Yeah.
How proud are you? You're playing with a sub and everything. Did you expect map 2 to go this good?
Yes, yes, because Desmo was playing pro, so I see my chats when they are smiling. And Desmo is so good, but he was playing pro, so I thought he knows strats also. So I'm pretty sure Fnatic will win this try.
Well, you say that, but on the other side here, of course, I got Yashik, who is a GX content creator. What's happening in map 2? You guys had such a great map 1, and now it feels like Bind's falling apart.
I don't know, to be honest, what is happening now.
Okay.
But maybe Fnatic just warmed up, maybe. But they're always struggling on the second map, so I'm kind of chill for the third.
Yeah. You think map 3 easy win for them then?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Third map, yeah?
Yeah.
Third map, easy win, easy win. No discuss.
Absolutely no discussion needed there, at least not from the 3 of us, but you are going to have more of a discussion from our casters as we continue on with Bind.
So what did GX have to do here, Hazza, to get themselves back into this one? They're going towards the attack with a double initiator comp.
Yeah, they do, and I think you have to be focusing on Ara again. He showed us what he can deliver in that final round, and I want to see a little bit more of that. I think playing on the defender's side as the Sky player is something that can be very difficult to master, and with Flickless just showing up on it here, there were improvements as the half went on. Now it should feel a little bit more comfortable, I think, leading some of those fights. You've got Cloud there supporting you as well. I mean, just across the board, if GX can start to find their rhythm, this one's not done yet.
GX already on the A site. You can see that Alpha wants the next duel, but in the pocket, GX wait for the smoke to go. In fact, they don't. I was straight away initiate off the back of it. And Cloud first up gets his kills.
Yeah, already into backside here, trying to fight aggressive, but Fnatic want to re-clear this.
Yeah, and as they do, it's Boaster and Desmo of all people who get the next couple kills, 3 on 3, but the health pool so much in favour of GX, and that's a massive part of a pistol round. As Fnatic still wait for the smokes to go up to dice up the angles in their favour and get closer to the spike, in which they do. Cloud goes searching, finds nothing, only a bullet to the face. So a 3 versus 2 in favour once again of Fnatic, but again,
the health.
Yeah, that's the big point. 1 bullet is enough to take out 3 players, and Flickless has done just that! With 3 of his own, straight away GX bounce back.
2 of them headshots as well. Had to be one of the stars and this triage of aggressive players on the GX side. In terms of the space that they take, they look for backside, they do all the right things.
Enemy remaining.
And between the player on triple and showers, they're able to win out in damage in the end. I mean, just buying a couple sheriffs into a pistol can make such a difference sometimes. And you see the case in point there.
The attack, get the straight back in with a bit better buy. You're expecting this now for GX to give us a little bit of something. Do you think there's ever a chance at panic stations for Fnatic at this point in time, especially with how poor the half has started? And obviously on the defense, you can see your economy dwindle very quickly.
I mean, the defense is something that Fnatic have had an issue with on this map in the past. If you actually go back and look at the result against Eternal Fire, though, it's where it was much better for them. So just have to see for a moment. Ara does find the double entry onto the B site, so that opens up quite nicely for him. And we'll just have to track it in the following rounds, honestly, Cairo. I think GX play a very different style to Eternal Fire. That's something in general that teams have struggled to handle. The sample size is still very small. But an in-zone flawless heading into the bonus is absolutely huge for their chances.
Yeah, it sets them up perfectly. I mean, I think the big thing for me is where does the ultimates lie for this next couple rounds, right? When do they come online? Seems as if Flickless is the closest. And this is the rifle round that we start to put a bit more of a magnifying glass over.
It absolutely is. I mean, on the Fnatic side as well, got to be thinking about the waylay of Alphair and what it can do on defender-sided holds. Still has the hinder available to it here, but look at how quick Ara is under his nose. Alphair does deal with the threat accordingly. So GX hampered for just a moment here as they're yet to get the spike down. They've taken Lamp's control, but they've still not found Alpha. Running hot as Westside trades out in effect through Desmo. Viper utility down.
Continuing to be the case, big information, but Fnatic still hold on.
Yeah, and still no security about this plant whatsoever. So with GX on the back foot, Flickless is asked of a 1 versus 4, and it just doesn't feel tangible. Fnatic have done all that they needed here. And as I was just speaking about the waylay, Alphair has a standout round. Not through utility past that first kill. He's looking to wrap it up with 4, and does so. With Fnatic back on track, it's just 2 rounds that they require to send this to a decider.
And yeah, I mean, thinking coming out of that Haven and towards Bind, everybody was worried that GX would come straight back in and give us another dominant display, but it's been anything but, in fact, the opposite.
Nice. Good job, Alphair. Let's close this bitch out.
Clean comms.
Clean comms indeed. So with that, we look back in towards this one. GX mostly towards the B side, West side solo on A.
See Fnatic actually grouping up for a little bit of proactivity themselves here. Searching out information on A short. Hesitant perhaps to go for it, but let's listen in on the GX side and see what they're planning in this B side push.
Towers. I'm holding care market. Let B you want?
Yeah, we'll just
I'm gonna jump pick Cloud.
Please, please. Yeah, okay, I'm coming.
nothing there. I can cross, Ara, you can cross.
Take the box.
Ruby,
I'm gonna
give
break
me
it.
because I'm staying
Take the box.
One lamp,
okay?
one lamp.
Take the box.
Take a break.
Ready to police.
I'm ready to dog, boys.
Wait a bit.
Ready, boys?
I'm ready.
Wait. I'm ready, go. Right, dogging. And hookah. Brim. He jumped out.
I'm down. There is 3, boys, there is 3.
I'm
One team, but there is 4. Can we go back to A? Can we go back?
Hit the pit,
Never mind, let's go. Wait,
We are more. We can.
Chill. Yes, I know.
No flash, no flashes on me.
I'm gonna smoke city, guys, okay?
Ready, boys?
Push in on that start. Out long,
Go, my stunning.
One more.
Dead.
Maybe one more. Guys, there.
You don't know. Care elbow. I'm holding behind, okay?
Yeah, go hold behind.
City one.
I'm holding.
I'm holding city smoke.
Trade Ara, someone.
30
Beacon
seconds
city.
left.
I have
Bingo
long,
City. Bingo City.
Okay.
No?
I'm holding out.
I don't know.
One Phantom,
Don't
one
lose
Phantom.
guns, don't.
One Phantom, one Phantom.
So Cloud with the call, realizing there were 4 players towards B for just a moment. That drops down to 3, and even amongst the chaos, they're able to secure a post plant, which it looks like they'll be set up to win. The captain himself finds the next, and Kayak will bow his head.
Yeah, with Boaster only on 700 credits, that rifle is a premium for the next round. That's what Fnatic will be looking to hold on to. Flickless on a solo mission, and it's Kayak to win out. So held on to Fnatic with a buy into the next one. GX up to 5. at least keeping themselves somewhat competitive.
Yeah, really interesting to hear in those comms there. Cloud spent quite a bit of the time just telling Ara to chill. It did get a little bit messy, I think, on the execute, just steadying themselves to make that pop happen. They've rehearsed, of course, what the execute looks like, but it's in some of those moments preceding when Fnatic throw a spanner in the works with Alpha on this round-the-world TP as well.
Bro, he didn't even saw me, bro.
Another day in the life of Alpha.
Yeah, good comms, good comms. Well, listen, with the next one, this is where we start to get in towards that ultimate cycle. We speak about it a lot being important, but we can't state it enough. For GX's chances in this second half, it will essentially decide whether this is a comeback or not.
Locating target.
I think the jury is definitely still out for me, especially after the listening there. GX managing to make it through the stack of players, still the strong side. But that is something they will be tasked with, not just the once. And already you can see here, Fnatic just trying to press the issue as much as possible. Kayak catches the info off the flash audio and just reconsiders this B-long walk down.
GX need to make a decision as to where they're going to go next soon. As you can see, Flickless trying to fake out towards the B side. Solo, remember, there is a TP there to get straight towards the A side and reinforce it if Fnatic really want to. But instead, they decide to go for the real rotate. That spike coming in.
Yeah, and with GX only approaching from one lane, this showers control for Fnatic could be a real issue if not handled correctly. Ara finds the kill on triple, and the second layer is Grubby arriving.
Yeah. Whether he arrives perfectly on time as Fnatic now start to move in on towards the spike. Sure, there's bodies there, but it's the utility they need to really get through and the fights that they need to win. It does go Fnatic's way, it continues to do so as Ara jumps, can't quite hide, and the spam not working out. Finally it does. It's a 1 versus 1 that Grubby needs to win. As Crashy sends forward the flash. Grubby not spamming, has to go for the fight, has to try and win it out, and does so! Keeping GX in it, a Red Bull clutch.
Very well read in the end from Grubby there. It was a bit of an awkward situation. He's looking across the side of the box to see if the spike had been halved or not. Waited to know if Crashies was opting for the full stick or if he was going to get back onto it. A little bit of luck, I think, not to get caught on the repeat there. But for the most part, GX with a fairly solid round. The one thing that really needed to be considered was the showers control from Fnatic, and Grubby, the player coming in late, does exactly what was asked of him.
Well, this now starts to really be considered a comeback, it has to be said. Grubby, though, has to hold the line. Next up, Kayak, and I mean, realistically, Fnatic want nothing to do with this.
I mean, look, it's just pistols. If it gets to a late stage in the round, Boaster, Alpha would have had a combo between them, but half of that now out of the window. I do want to just bring you up on what you said. I feel like there's 1 or 2 more gun rounds before I really have full faith in GX flipping this one.
I don't know, man, like with the ultimates and everything that's in play, like, sure, that's where I start to really favor the attack.
Yeah, that's exactly my point, though, because this next ult cycle ultimately will determine the direction of the late stage of this game and whether GX actually have what it takes. Fnatic just 2 rounds away, of course. It's not going to take much for them to win out, and they only trail by a player here. Boaster finding one in Lamps and just about snacks the upgrade onto the Vandal. Spike goes in, but Boaster again, disrespecting the molly, finding himself another. Boaster strikes thrice, and with Grubby on the other side, already a clutch to his name in this game, Boaster has to go one better to shut down the comeback, to collect it for himself. But it is Grubby, ever elusive on this A site, that carries the momentum forwards.
The win for Fnatic there is to keep their opponents close in terms of economy. But for GX, they keep themselves alive, and that's the big win. It's not how you win, it's if you win at this moment in time for the attack. And they certainly are doing that. A run of 3 rounds in a row.
Nice! Good job.
And now you're looking at this round as maybe being the most pivotal so far in the series. 3 big ults up on either side of the server. The combo I spoke about on Fnatic, and of course GX with their own tools to consolidate a post plant through a pit, or either Brim Teho ulti to really grind it down to the final grains of sand.
Got to be thinking about post here for GX, right? You've got the Teho, you've got the Brim, and you've got the ults to go with it as well. That should be basically play safe, but it doesn't work out like that.
Yeah, have to find the kills on the side first, and with Ara going so deep to try and collect it, Desmo cuts him out of position. A double from the Dane, and now it's a 3v2 that favors Fnatic. Spike just about able to go in through the back of Cloud, and as we see how Fnatic finish this up in comms.
But that's why it's full fuel, just stick.
Nice. Come on, boys.
I fucking jumped. Nice drop. I fucking jumped out of heaven and killed that guy.
Nice drop. That's what you did. Nice, Gabby.
Yeah, not getting to hear all too much from them there, honestly, but that is the 12th and the round which makes all of the difference. GX spending ultimate, Fnatic saving all of them.
And that's it. Into this next round. 5 big ones that you can easily win around with. A stockpile, perhaps, something we've seen many co-streamers call for, you know, especially thinking back to that Gentlemates roster when they couldn't win out maps. This is how you do it, and Fnatic could show us exactly why you stockpile these.
That old chestnut, I know exactly what you mean, Fnatic. They've got the tools here. And GX brute forcing A again through Ara is going to be sidelined once more. Desmo there to just stall it out. And actually, Kaya going down with Westside finding a couple of his own. It's a 3-on-3 and yeah, post plant enabled.
Yeah, sure, but look at the ultimates to retake. We spoke about it, and this is where we're going to see the effect.
Crashies in particular with those Seekers would be the immediate antidote to defumigate this pit, which Westside is playing from. The rest of GX inside it, with the exception of Grabinho. He has a molly to try and play late, but Fnatic are all in on this right now. It is the use of the Waylay actually to just completely hinder Westside. Boaster scorches him where he stands. And so Fnatic now moving towards the late stages of this. Should be their round to win, unless Grubby has any more of a Hail Mary to bail them out. He doesn't. Boaster the one to do it. And so a decider will be required to settle the difference.
That's exactly how to close out a map, and it shows you the experience and how well drilled Fnatic are. We go one apiece on this series.
That's what you brag. Like, are we not? Is that not the base? But also, new composition we expect from the side of Giant X as Sky on the hands of Flickless, and Desmo playing his 3rd different role for this best of 3 today. Speaking of a super sub.
It really is. It's great to see him. And look, I'm not going to doubt his performance there either. What I love about this comp for Fnatic is how aggressive and fluid it allows them to play with that Harbor in there. They're not locked in to one style of play. Pivots don't take forever, and they can really move with the map, move as they move with the map control, I should say. So for Giant X, this now becomes an even more difficult challenge. Fnatic are back. They're not limping into this 3rd map. They're coming off the back of hitting their stride in the previous, and now they're not going to be stuck in the mud.
This is the way that Giant X always wins. So if you're a Giant X fan, you should not worry. It's the 3rd map. The 2nd one is just like sometimes it goes bad. They win the Haven, they lose the other one. It doesn't matter. If they close it, it is on the 3rd one. Flickless, as I was saying, with the Sky playing against a Viper and also a Harbor. Let's see if actually that works in their favor, because Fnatic started on the attack on Bind, and that definitely gave them the fuel they needed.
And thank God they got rid of that jet. Now an extra wall to flash through with the Sky as well. Maybe that could be the challenge Fnatic need.
Somehow, I still don't feel extremely sold, though, right? Whilst there is that silver lining and it feels like things are on the upward trajectory, maybe that pressure is going to get to them. We'll see exactly what shows up on Breeze, because our casters are ready with Hazard and Kyra.
That we are, and heading into a decider which could mean so much, not just for Giant X locking playoffs, but the rest of this group as well. Of course, if they were to win today, one of Vitality or BBL would be guaranteed to miss out in the weeks that now follow that game tomorrow. Such a big one to look out for. But full focus on Breeze as it stands. A map which GX are yet to win this year. what a time to find that turnaround.
Yeah, for Fnatic, if they lock that first place, they'll be 1 game away from Masters London. That's the stakes. That's what Fnatic want. And that's why they're going all in here on this final map.
Even GX just putting themselves in that playoffs conversation before week 5 allows them to move up a little bit and dodge the lower bracket. So many different permutations riding off this single result. Fnatic starting off on the attack side. It's an early knife from the hands of Desmo into middle. Just recollecting that information. And now grouping up for a B hit, which will be falling on deaf ears. GX completely overloading the mid space. Takes a little bit of time behind the harbor wall for them to get on site.
Yeah, but it gives them less ground to cover in terms of reclearing, right? Good darts though onto Crashes. That's a lot of damage. At least Fnatic are into post.
Looking at the post plant, the 1 player detached is Boaster from main, with 3 players snaking their way through the elbow. The call is made for Alfier to try and help him out. Boaster still cloaked away in the window position, and GX are aware of the possibility. Fnatic grouped up in backside. Boaster really needed to land those shots, because now it's a serious issue in the 5-on-3. Arrow with 3 of his own, and it's only Kayak left standing. Robinho's hands are busy, the spike defusal in progress, and this one just slipping out of their fate. Perfect start for GX on the pistol.
Gun here.
And just by a whisker, they make sure that the orb goes to Cloud.
Yeah, I mean, 2 seconds left. Not that much of a panic realistically, but GX, as you said, get that round, and that's what's the most important part. I mean, Fnatic, though, did have a few open goals that they missed in the end, which is the worrying thing here, because that was almost the story for Haven.
Yeah, it was, right? But I think one of the things that I want to look at specifically here is that GX, not only are they playing solo duelist again, they're up against a solo duelist and a double wall composition, which Fnatic have been plying over the weeks. It's that 20% drop-off in results that we'd seen making the difference for them up until this point, as Westside is just able to ward off that first wave of players, but Kayak slips through the net and picks up Flickless, finds his man on Westside as well. Alfier through elbow, rips off the connective tissue, pulls the plug on this GX rotation. I spoke about a perfect start. Fnatic might just have a flawless second round with almost no upfront investment.
Hey, that's what you want. That's exactly what you'll be looking for. Cloud just last alive, and you can see Fnatic are queuing up for that fight. Goes Fnatic's way though, a thrifty round.
It's almost better than winning the pistol. That immediate response, and GX just halted from finding liftoff. Not allowed to have runway. You're looking at Breeze as a map. I think the part that Fnatic struggled with here was the defender's side more than anything else with this harbor composition. Boaster was talking about it. Difficult to try and make the walls in a way that you can actually keep control of site, not knowing where to play, when to peel off. So them having a strong attack side to kick things off, I mean, it makes a difference. And yeah, Pipson clearly very frustrated. His coach confession telling all on the preparation here for them.
Listen, I don't think there's much more that is needed to be said, right? Pipson showing what is most important at this moment in time for GX, because with that round win, Fnatic are straight back in this. There's going to be no chance to snowball like we saw in Haven. There's going to be no chance to really bounce back after that map loss. And let's be so honest here, with a brain like Boaster in the server, supported by Desmo, this should be pretty easy to call on the attack side.
Yeah, it's interesting, I suppose. Usually you'd have that conversation in a team if the coach was coming in. It would typically be with a stand-in situation that they're replacing the in-game leader. Sometimes you'd see it, but obviously that's not the way that it's worked out today. And Boaster's the kind of guy, I think, who you just let in-game lead if you're Desmo. It's rather offering that extra advice in these timeouts and bouncing off the LAN.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing, but it seems as if Fnatic want to flog the dead horse, and that dead horse seems to be the B site for this moment in time as Westside is left alone to the back of it. Good utility. And there's bodies here for GX to retake.
Yeah, but look at this double wall setup. As soon as the Harbour High Tide goes down, there's a toxic screen right behind it.
Yeah, and well, there's utility to stop any floods coming through. Grubby's at least able to get one of his own, but in the end, it is pretty much as much of a professional round as you would expect from Fnatic.
And looking at GX on their retake there, obviously they've only got pistols. Maybe they're trying to disrupt the post plant a little bit. I wonder if they will be learning that lesson then coming into the following rounds. Or are they going to just kind of keep trying to disrespect this double wall? Because it's incredibly strong if you're pushing it. And those timings are maybe something that they're not completely used to, at least in an official.
So into the next, we see Ara's op coming out, and this has been a big point of contention week to week about his impact and what he can find. It's been getting better as the weeks go by, though, to be fair to him, as he finds himself in elbow, and the spike is close by.
Yeah, Fnatic have been defaulting by taking B main on a number of rounds, so Ara is in the right place at the right time.
The body's coming to him. He can hear the steps, and that's why he takes a much more reserved position, finding that kill. But still, Kayak is so deep, and he has not been found. Not at all. Flickless with the knife out. Manages to escape with his life, but not for much longer. Grubby on his smokes. Fnatic on lock. So it's Ara's operator still able to get the kill and keep this doable.
Yeah, just a moment now where Fnatic actually start to reconsider between Desmo and Alpha yet. The Viper player already up through Nest, and Desmo now rotating. Ara's chasing with his sprint though. He's right behind, and he's dropped the spike.
That is a massive win for GX. But does it mean a win on the round? With 20 seconds remaining, we're going to have to see Alpha get a move on. And he's coming from behind, slowly but surely.
Yeah. I don't think GX expect this at all, but there's just not enough time anymore.
Yeah, the players now starting to play keep away. As Alpha will be able to get the spike, but whether he gets out with his life, it looks like it is going to be the case. And you can see already Ara not giving him the next duel. So 2-2. I mean, it ends up coming down to that chase down.
Yeah, GX answer back through Ara. A very great round from him there, and just knowing when to take these aggressive duels, when to show a little bit more discipline. It's a nice first kill onto Boaster. Kind of enables the rest of the side to then push out and support on site. No operator in the server just yet, but Kayak with an ulti. And it looks like this might be a change in tempo for Fnatic. Not something we see all too often, but something Boaster's consistently mentioned about being an improvement.
I mean, so far it has been pretty much straight XXB. I guess the only difference is exec towards A, and GX want to try and brawl towards mid. Fists up and hitting haymakers at this moment in time. Fnatic made to reconsider.
Yeah, but already walking out into sight here. Boaster ulting the players from the corner.
Oh, but Grubby catches him in transition. At least the spike makes it onto sight, but it's still Alpha. The final boss of EMEA. Can he do it once again? We know he's good for it, but he's been caught out in damage, just denying the opportunity. The next engagement needs to be clean. Has seen at least one. The Omen. A shoulder peek maybe confirming his position, but GX haven't changed their hold. They haven't swapped up and looked for Alpha here, so he's all the way around the back. Gets the first one as clean as possible, and a headshot on towards Grubby is big damage. Still time to work with, but you can see Cloud's already made his way all the way up onto ball. And Alpha winning out! There's no way he gets that opportunity, but GX give it.
GX scared in the face of the final boss, and he makes them pay with a Red Bull clutch. Nice initial re-aggression from GX in mid, but it's this 1v3 where I don't know where it is Flickless is looking, thinks Alpha's still default. Waits for the Toxins to come back up, puts the wall in their face, and I don't think Milan can even believe it, but happy at the very least for them to have found themselves back in front and broken the bye.
Yeah, final boss of EMEA, the raid boss against GX. Oh, Ultimate's even been pushed to the middle here. Big information through the info dart, but Kayak in the corner, set up through the flash. Still awkward to try and break through though for Fnatic.
Yeah, Ara hanging around with this Bucky as well up close could be an issue. GX just adapting to this slightly faster Fnatic playstyle, which they've had to introduce from their vintage. With Alpha in the corner here, he's hungry for blood. Only the one this time, still playing into the Bucky. Ara does walk away with one, but one might not suffice. Still a 3-on-3, and Grubby has recovered this rifle.
Yeah, but he's not got much health realistically here, has he?
Supported by Cloud. Fake of the door, has the recon. This is the biggest tool back into the retake. Fnatic with a couple of ults to work off. Crashies with the Hunter's Fury, but he's locked in on the default position, so it's Kayak from the corner to take first contact. Recon dart buys a bit of a distraction. Great tee up onto the first, and Crashy just looking to convert off of it. Grubby with that rifle, just lit in the heads. And with Westside finding Boaster, they keep on rolling. GX equal to it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Both teams keeping it close. A thrifty round by GX. And overall, Hazard, there's a few rounds in here that should never have been won from either side.
I think you're seeing a little bit of nerves come into play on a couple of these rounds now. Some decisions made. Think back to the Alpha 1v3, for example. Just a little bit scared in some situations, and Fnatic here, I mean, individually outclassed. What a shot from Grubby. That's the Kickstarter, and now it's back to a similar piece.
I like this though. Use the same fast lane from the Neon to fake towards A, but instead they use it to go elsewhere, but it's into Ara's operator that immediately shuts down Kayak.
Does. Gets caught by the stun following it up, but Fnatic still chasing this.
Yeah, with rifles at the back of it, those shots not hitting. Decimal flashed himself, and if he hadn't, that would have been a free kill. GX lock Fnatic out, no way in. But they're looking to go elsewhere. Boaster standing up to the challenge.
Yeah, nice positioning, just moves the needle back. Fnatic still fully committed to the B site. This is how Breeze tends to play sometimes. Not too many options in the mid-round, as you can see this reclear from GX. Full B main control under their banner now.
Alpha knows about it as well, given the information, and the Seekers popped immediately. Look at Crashies though, he's on an exploration mission towards the A site.
And will be the one calling them towards this post plant. The only player that stands between is Westside, and watching from the bridge. He will be able to catch the spike in transition, if not for Alpha's brilliant placement of the Toxic Cloud. Boaster just stepping forward, drops the package to his teammate. There's this main re-aggression from GX as they're flanking in behind that could be the most poignant of the issues. Alfia flooding out of the pit, but Boaster's on for an ace here. And he's gonna have to find it if this round is to end in Fnatic's favor. His first in VCT only a year ago or so, but he needs it now to best Flickless, and finds all five. Boaster on his feet and back in business.
And the fans showing their appreciation for his efforts. To be fair to him, so far from the second map and into the third, he showed us some pretty good moments.
Come on then! Hey! Come on then!
Another Boaster pop-off. I'd have to know how many aces he has in the VCT, but I believe that's only the second. And what a time to pick it up when this game has really been a bit of a metronome so far.
One suppressed.
A back and forth. GX put onto a set of pistols here. You can see Grabinho's the outlet, which they're looking to find something from middle. Those footsteps will have been heard on the Fnatic side.
Oh, and Alpha caught out as well. Fnatic looking to grab defensive positions here, as it could be another thrifty round on the cards. Well, There's still a buy here, and it still continues to go GX's way as the rifles get online. And Fnatic left scratching their heads as where to go.
Down to the last 3 members. Crashy's on 5 HP. I mean, the first step is get to the site. The second, set up a post plant that can actually overturn that deficit.
And it seems as if Boaster is the light in the darkness at the moment as he looks to move towards the B site with his teammates. But Cloud shots just unluckily not able to capture a kill, but dealing damage, and that's the most important part.
Fnatic will be hoping it's not going to be a third Boaster ace to win it for them here, but that might be the case. He has found the first. GX moving, making inroads now back around B. Full main control taken. Look at Desmo though, he's incredibly deep on the opposite side.
Yeah, and you can already see the delay coming through from Boaster. He's feeling it, he wants the next engagement. And that is putting now things even on the player count, which is most important for Fnatic. You've got to be looking at Flickless coming through. It's just Arrow left and he's gone.
Unreal.
That's massive from Fnatic to get things into much more regular winning states.
I mean, it's a brilliant ult from Boaster as well that we see there. Harbour, with the changes, the complete rework of his kit, a lot of people feeling like he was missing out on the mini push wall for the scaling, but if other players are trying to bear on down, it's one of the best ults to defend yourself, and you saw the value from it there. Fnatic reverse engineering their positioning. And now I think it's important to talk about where this stage really sits for them and some of the historicals, because I mentioned it earlier on in the day, but it's at this point in the year now, coming off the back of a kickoff where they struggled, that you need to be raking home those points.
Yeah, and this is what has been happening in the last few years, let's be honest, Hazza. When we think towards Fnatic's Stage 1 history, never been great at kickoff, but the bounce back has always been to the highest point regionally.
This, of course, only shows you the two in the partnership era where we had a Stage 1 before then in 2023 with LCQs and the like. It was a 9-0 group stage in the follow-up to Masters Tokyo. There was a loss to Liquid in the grand final, par for the course, I suppose, but there you have it. Boaster's second ace in VCT EMEA, the in-game leader, leading from the front right now, 13-4, head and shoulders above the rest of the server. And it feels like sometimes in these important games, you do see that step up from him amongst others.
And already in the site are Fnatic, Kayak being the one to lead the line successfully, but not so in the second. And that was the important part, that would have unlocked everything. And Ara from nowhere is also featured in the kill feed. So Fnatic backs to the wall and have to find a way out. A good flash, but Desmo not good on the rifle. Ara's even got the ultimate up because he knows there's blood in the water, and that's not where you want to be. Not when Ara's on the hunt. And GX, after the timeout, will win.
No saviour for Fnatic this time around as GX pull one back to make it a one-round game heading into the last couple of the half. Ara's been so successful on this extremity, constantly poking and prodding B.
Nice! Good job, good.
When we're talking about playstyles and stuff, and one of the reasons why Eternal Fire have succeeded, for example, it's just this constant chipping away in terms of map space, and I think Ara's done a brilliant job so far as that solo duelist at giving them a bit more of an early read on these rotations.
Fnatic need to try and defumigate the A site. Decided, do you know what? Sometimes the best way to deal with it is not to deal with it, so they're heading elsewhere.
I think at this stage in the round now, Fnatic need to anticipate the elbow walk down.
Yeah, should anticipate the aggression, but no one's facing it, so they're right on the angle early. GX, though, having Flickless escape towards window is an issue, and now you can see the pace increasing as the attack come through and try to get towards double doors, but again, there's more stall to come out from the defense, through the rifles, and into the kills. 4v3, and you can see Ara trying to head for the hills and get away, Kayak chasing, but it has led to a path onto the B site, should they take it.
Fnatic Just looking for that first duel, really. I mean, Kayak was still searching in tunnel. The round offered some time to breathe, and with Flickless already pushed all the way up on the outskirts of B, they will be ready to greet Fnatic as they make their way through double doors.
Ah, they are, and the rifle's working out, yeah. Crashes now. This would have to be something special. 12 HP on a clutch. There's absolutely no chance. The molly is enough, and we will be all even with 2 rounds to play in the half.
It's a massive opportunity for GX now to take that advantage for themselves. Fnatic's money toppled. And like I was saying earlier on, this is the stronger side for them. The one where they can make the most of this composition, especially in the latter stages. But if you're not finding those openings cleanly, if you're having to mid-round a whole lot more, then you are going to struggle innately. And GX in this position now with Aura on an Outlaw is just looking to punish.
I think that's the thing. GX are now demanding Fnatic's attention on multiple fronts. If Fnatic try to pressure A, you know they're starting to move B. They're making that map feel a little bit claustrophobic. And I think that's the big point. So we see it's a bit of a mixed bag so far for the attack. 2 Guardians, 3 Sheriffs.
Just 2 bullets, takes 2 down. Fnatic from this position still have a couple rifles, and with the spike picked up, Ara can confirm the position of another player. But like you say, it's just the amount of pressure that GX are creating in certain areas of the map, guiding Fnatic to their doom, fortifying the other arm of it. Flickless here, continuing to hit heads and hammer home the point. GX will have 6 rounds, that's no problem. It's a chance at the 7th, which just feels elusive.
I got spike. Gotta go.
Yeah, that is... I mean, we've
30
seen
seconds left.
ace clutches right so far, even in this series.
I'm out of here.
Kayak certainly been good for it on, good for kills and stuff like that in certain occasions, but in zone flawless, it is certainly going to make it out of the question. GX up to 6, a chance at 7. And I feel as if an even half would be, I guess, compliments to both teams at this point in time.
Yeah, perhaps. In-zone flawless there for GX means that they have full purchasing power into the follow-up. This was really nice from Aura. Again, just juggling between the scoped weapons where we'd seen him try and play on a sniper and kick off. It didn't look great.
Push down all the way.
So much better in stage 1. I don't even know what he said there, but
he's been huffing the helium.
Further misery, and it will continue being inflicted. Aura rescinding all control from Fnatic's hands. GX masters of their own destiny towards a potential playoff spot. Westside will have the fumes taken down from in front of him, and Desmo does what he needs to keep them in the round, but it's short-lived as it stands.
Still a 2v3 though.
Alpha, yeah, it is able to get one back in the conversation, but Grubby already set up with this TP, ready to penalize the player's side. Not sure if Fnatic have quite read the situation just yet. Crashies is trying to give them something to go off here with the ultimate. But between the remaining players, there is nothing left to do. GX will hold 7.
Yeah, but before we come back for the second half, get ready for a little bit of a mini-game. Can you figure out who this agent is?
I don't know, Caro. Let's see.
One enemy remaining.
Red Bull gives you wings.
with the halftime quiz concluded. For those playing along at home, did you get it right? Did you get it wrong?
Well, technically, if we locked your first answer in, you would have got it wrong.
No, I said Vice because I thought it was the headshot, but no, it was the full splash art. My second guess was correct, so...
Oh, of course, we've got to take your second guess.
There you go. Okay, you didn't guess, Cairo, so I
said Keo.
Well, that was also wrong.
Yeah, but I'm still, if I'm wrong, so should you.
Okay, sure. Anyway, enough about that. This game has massive ramifications for the group. GX the chance to lock. Fnatic, of course, would love to be first seed and get that bye towards Masters London, a home stand for them. With BBL and Vitality watching along, hoping that Fnatic can do exactly that. Otherwise, it comes down to that head-to-head in just 24 hours' time.
Information Crashes was able to get gives or puts Kayak at least on a heightened awareness of what could be lurking round the corner.
Yeah. He's on red alert right now. And while Boaster is just floating around behind him on A, GX looking to create a little bit of pressure here. It's a fake which they're maybe trying to sell towards A, but in fact, actually, there is follow-up. Flickless finds that kill. Grubby already making inroads in A main. And this all just leads towards them having a post plant where we want to see how much extra space they're willing to take.
Boaster looking to play around the wall.
And with this kind of a retake-heavy composition that Fnatic do possess, you have to be looking at an opportunity to try and dismantle that as much as possible. Grubby not allowed to use the paranoia, but he won't require it here. Everyone on GX doing their job, signing off on this aggression. The death warrant of Desmo hung over his head, and Grubby happy to have the final details. Ara there as well, an 8 for GX. Rounds either side of the half set them well on their way.
A big pistol round to win out, but we saw the response last time. Whenever a team before this map had won a pistol round, they typically went on to win majority of the rounds in the half, which is a big point to consider.
Go, go, go. Fight, fight. Nice! Let's go!
Into the next one with a better buy. Expected to win. They will be one off double digits.
GX have had their issues on this map. As I said before, yet to win it so far in the year. Losses to Liquid, Vitality, cross kickoff. They're able to close it out as Fnatic are putting the pressure on nice and early here outside of B. It's Grubby that drops in the window with just a pistol. The weapon's still kept on the attack side, but Crashies just needs to delay as much as possible and very nearly finds a kill for his efforts.
Yeah, trying to delay, trying to get away, to get with more support. Still utility in this game though for Fnatic's retake.
Not too much of it though. And as it's now just Boaster's stun, which he'll be looking to try and set the rest up with. Cove coming in, just allows the cross from the players in middle with both shots missed by Ara on the Outlaw. The issue is yet to be remedied, but between Westside and Cloud, they keep Fnatic honest. 3 left standing and the 9th does arrive.
Yeah, they do one away from double digits as we expected, but there was a little bit of damage in there. So the bonus not as strong as expected, but still strong and should be respected. Fnatic have 5 rifles of their own.
And I do want to actually pick up on what was said in the coach confession from Pipson there, talking about this being a preparation-heavy result on Breeze, because when you look at it right now, it feels like GX are already reading into exactly what it is they need to counter Fnatic's comp, where we have seen defender-sided struggles for them on this map previously. Taking the extra real estate, looking for those additional fights, and not allowing for the retakes to be as clean as they would hope. The First Bloods have also fallen in their favor, and that makes a world of difference, but if we're just talking in terms of approach, I think they've got it spot on so far.
I would agree. A split towards the A site where only 2 players are. I mean, this is the perfect call, right? The weaker of the 2 sites.
Alfia's wall is set up in middle. Boaster still has his here to just try and play off of it. Manages to deny movement from both middle and main to the choke of the site itself, and Kayak re-engaging actually wants to take this fight ahead of time. That's exactly what Fnatic required. Flickless is able to pick a couple back up himself, with the Seekers out, has detected Boaster in the middle of sight, west side, with an acute adjustment to make it a 2-on-2.
Time to stall or to get back in here, and Desmo's taking that chance.
This round result could be binding, as Desmo has managed to bring this wall offline. Flickless finding him in the process, and now it's down to Alpha. Between the two Sentinels, Westside may be thinking about disrespecting his own wall. Alpha was holding on to it, but now it's a game of wrapping around the pyramids in the site itself, and Alpha will bury Westside at the bottom. A must-win round for Fnatic will be picked up.
The clutches have been important from Alpha here to keep Fnatic in this and create, or at least eat into a little bit of the distance that GX have created now. 6 in a row from concluded in the first half. That's the one thing to know.
Nice. Thank God, bro.
And here's the relief.
Yeah, that's the only way to put it. I think Fnatic will feel happy to have picked that one up at the very least, because with how it's been trending, GX in full control, 6 rounds on the bounce, and now into another rifle round where Fnatic are missing a couple pieces, light shields across the board, Guardians as well. In terms of the ults conversation, I mean, neither side in a position to get anything online too early here. Kayak just a couple away from the overdrive, but that's about all as it stands.
Cover going up.
It's Crashes who needs to be careful, as well as Kayak, because in terms of mid, those are the ones that are holding on towards the important space, right? The avenues in which it could easily turn into an execute. Nobody really holding on towards Tunnel, and that's where Ara is going to make his point of approach. Nobody to fight him, trying to hide away, the flash not hitting. Alpha's got one of his own, but Ara's entry good. Still 4 apiece from either side.
Yeah, and Alpha yet to be dug out of backside.
Yeah, it's a real issue. They're trying their best, but Alpha down in the spike and dropping the numbers lower. Kayak introducing himself and making this an issue, which plays in Crashes. Ara, with no hope in hell, brings this within 2.
2 rounds is all the difference, and with GX failing to convert the bonus, the follow-up not looking any better, Fnatic with a chance to drag this into 1 round of contention. They've made great progress on some of these ultimates as well. So by the time we get to the next gun round, could make all of the difference, and Pipson knows it.
Yeah, it's not often that you see an attack economy break, right? Especially with the spike plants and the like. And denying that last one will be huge for Fnatic. A one-way in main, making it difficult to try and clear out, but that's why the dog is such an important piece of utility.
Just escorting them there. As Ara with this overdrive now, I gotta say, there's real potential for the round to get messy, and I think that's where Fnatic may offer a little bit more respect. Have to understand that if he finds a kill, even then you'd need to recover the weapons to make it look scary. And not too much space taken.
This will be the second drone used by GX as they try to scale up, but Kayak heading on the other side of that smoke is a real issue, because if he activates, if he finds his chance, that's insane! That's exactly what Kayak can do to you, and that's what Fnatic can, as they all combine together. It's synergistic. It's absolutely gorgeous, VALORANT, let's be honest, and Kayak finishes it with a cherry on top.
Like a lightning strike on a summer's day, you never expect it to hit, but Kayak has the ability to do it to you. An in-zone flawless, and look, while there wasn't much coming into it here for GX, seeing Kayak back at this kind of form, when I was just speaking to him in the post-plant the other week about where he feels he's at individually, makes you feel so confident for what there could be to come from Fnatic in playoffs. 5 rounds away from first seed, and they're looking to put the pressure on early in B. Hunter's Fury from Crashes connects onto a couple of targets. In fact, it's only Flickless to fall.
But look at this, the immediate pivot from GX to go towards A. Alpha under fire.
GX just trying to pile it on as much as possible. Alpha repositioning brilliantly. Boaster arriving in support as well with his utility cutting off the cross. Cloud still trying to hold it down and find those players in transition. But GX don't have the room that they require to make this close part of security right now. Fnatic are slipping it from beneath their feet. Nowhere left to stand as they do find the equalizer.
Back up to 9. 4 in a row so far. And you think towards what's been happening, right? How successful we've seen Fnatic start to be on this defense, denying spike plant after spike plant and making that economy really pay. It's no longer relief, it's confidence on the face of Fnatic.
Confidence is the most important word, because that's one which we now start to associate with Kayak again, as he was the real driving force for Fnatic when we looked at their performances last year, the reason why they were able to make it to multiple global finals in the VCT. And you can see it in this game now as well, where it is translating in the latter stages. Really impressed with some of the impact he was having in the clutches against Pacific the other week as well. You look at the numbers regionally, they stack up. Like the player he's second to for ACS is only Alpha. It's almost more impressive the fact that Alpha's played 5 different roles, something which we've only seen, 5 different agents, sorry, from Fabian and Filu, to much less success.
Yeah, I guess Fabian would be the closest within touching distance, but yeah, Filu not having the best of stages. But certainly Kayak and Alpha are, and so Fnatic, let's be honest. A win here confirms #1 spot and 1 win away from Masters London. That's what they're playing for, right? And that's what the fans will be hoping for, a Masters London appearance. As Kayak looks to be the one to send them there, holding down main all by himself, but beginning to retreat.
It just has to give up the ghost a little bit. You see this early wall come back in from Boaster. Fnatic's priorities to play this backside control. Kayak just moving around, but yet to disrespect the Viper wall. And as it drops, the ult is in on the GX side. Hunter's Fury trying to push them forwards, but still Fnatic unperturbed. Alpha cutting off the mid play from West side as well. The lurk now removed, and Fleckless cowering in this corner. The peek round the corner from the duo of Crashies and Desmo was anticipated but could not be thwarted. Cloud all that stands between Fnatic and a 10th. Should be no way in hell that he can stop them now.
Not with a Sheriff, not in this position. You can even hear the drone being sent his way. For him, it's all about damage. Sure, the Fnatic economy strong, but realistically, right, yes. There's no hope in hell.
Left.
Cloud stepping up to the plate. This one out of the wheelhouse. Nice first shot, gets no better. Fnatic up to 10 and just 3 rounds away now from closing in on what would be a landmark win, a group topper, and a 50th for the organization in the VCT in EMEA.
Just shows you how long Fnatic have been around.
It's okay, Desi, it's okay, buddy.
For as much as GX have shown us today, I think it comes back to something that we were saying at the start as well. Boaster at the helm for all of what would be those 50 wins if we see it, and it just speaks volumes to the system that's been created here, that Desmo can come in for the player signed up. GX have so much to do here, and let's have a listen in to see what they're doing on this round.
On the right, okay.
You have smoke or
I have only one smoke. So smoke here, mate.
Smoke here, smoke here, smoke here. Smoke here, go on the left.
No knife,
We will need to pop, we will need to pop.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
On the right, yes?
On the left, on the left.
On the left.
Ready, boys?
Okay. I smoke, I'm gonna pick. Be
Let's
ready.
go.
Go, flash.
Flashing. I'm blind. He's revealed.
I cannot break it fast.
He's jumping on box map. Anti.
Well, whether it was to the left or to the right, GX only going one way into the blender on the B site there. An in-zone flawless for Fnatic in the gun round, and now just a couple away from securing that first seed.
Yeah, it's heartbreak for GX because they wanted to confirm playoffs here and now. They might be made to wait a week or two longer. Especially with Vitality playing BBL later in the week. That's the other thing to note here. We're straight back into it and on towards the A side of things.
GX have emptied their pockets as much as possible, going for a quick play here. A site has been a difficulty for them.
Has been, and Kayak just making sure to pay attention to every detail. The ultimate excellent, and they set up even better. The utility, that's what Fnatic's known for. And now Westside left all alone.
I mean, it's just such an excellent hold from Fnatic. When I was speaking earlier about a player put under duress, what ult do you want? Boaster there with the Harbor ulti. And then the additional utility off the back to just tee up Kayak. It's brilliant synergy shown on the site hold. And GX just not prepared for it at all.
Thing is, though, Westside has been good for hitting the heads, right? We know.
Are you really entertaining this 1v4?
I'm giving them a chance, right? That's the way I look at it in my head. The odds are, Westside likes to hit a head or two. If he can hit 3 in a row, then I fancy his chances. He can dice up the angles.
Sure, 30 seconds now for him to try and do it. I think the pit would probably be the win condition, but it doesn't even look like he's going to give it a go.
He's going for the
now,
rotate.
In saying that, how good is your mental timing?
Yeah,
doesn't matter, he's saving.
I mean, for a minute we thought, but it's not going to be the case. Fnatic bearing on down and looking to get rid of that last rifle. Alpha here, not paying attention to spawn, but finally finds zone. Nice little 360. Yeah, nice little catch. Going for something old school. But, I mean, it's this new dominance that we've been seeing from Fnatic in the stage ones, in the franchised era. And it looks to continue here by winning out Braze and confirming that #1 spot.
GX, this kind of a round when you're trying to just...
Holy shit, Kiki and me, baby. That was sexy, wasn't it? We're riding the wave!
Riding the wave indeed. When you're trying to brute force it, feels like GX are the ones riding that wave, you know?
Yeah.
Not really able to do much in that situation. Fnatic now chaining many around together.
7 in a row and 6 in a row of just straight eliminations. No spike plant at all from GX.
And looking at what they've got here, I mean, Westside would love that pit in post, but that's if you get to it. Didn't have a chance on the previous. Mid a concession that Fnatic are happy to make, but Kayak is the first port of call. Overlooking the close angle, 2 players tucked in the corner, and with that opening, GX have a little bit of weight off their chest.
Yeah, they do. Crashes now coming in, but is identified at the very least. So GX with an opportunity into post, but decide against it. Seen enough and going towards the B site. We look at Desmo.
Boaster still there as well with that wall. It just shuns them away. And as you say, Desmo playing from this deep corner is a clear that is necessary for GX's hopes of survival in the map. Still overlooked. Desmo can't find his. That's where Alpha steps up and makes them pay. Fnatic, even with the stand-in, we've seen it all before. Grubby has an ulti. He's going to give this one a go late. But in a 3v1, it feels all but wrapped up.
Yeah, Grubinho going for the TP play. And now into post. A 1 versus 3 with Alpha so low. I'm not quite sure about this.
Couple clutches already won for him so far in the series. Alpha, the first test. Nothing gets past him. All 5 for Alpha. And that 50th win for Fnatic in VCT EMEA. A half century with Boaster at the helm. And just further evidence that if you didn't already believe that this was an organization capable of making magic happen on less than favorable terms, then here it is. First in the group secured, and GX made to wait for their playoff push.